Okay, so welcome back to the channel and to another video where today we are going to be servicing the A3. We're going to give it a full service. We're obviously doing an oil change. We've got the oil filter, we've got the air filter, we've got the pollen filter, and I'm going to show you how to do everything. The only thing I'm not going to show you how to do is jack up in a field on grass, because you shouldn't do that. So find a nice bit of flat ground, and then apart from that, everything's going to be the same. So we've got all the stuff ready to go here. And we're going to run through pretty much a step-by-step guide of how to do everything, how to drain your oil, how to change your filters, all that sort of stuff. And then by the end of this, you're going to be an expert, and the camera woman's going to be an expert, and then she's going to service her car over here, which you will see in a future video, because we're going to service that and then we're going to sell it. So that's how it's going.
Yeah, that's true.
Go. Right, so first step, jack up your car, obviously. Again, this is not how to unjack up your car. Do not jack on grass. It's not the safest thing in the world, but I ain't got a driveway that I can do this on, so the field it is. Whoopsie. First step, jack up your car. Now hopefully, these bits of wood take the weight.
That hurts.
Is that nice? Do you like that one? Have a nice little axle stand. Right, there we go. Ooh. This is definitely not a how-to. If you do your car like this, I take no responsibility. But it's definitely in the air, so that'll do me. Right, to the side. Hopefully. Right, so the first thing you're going to need, like any Audi, T25 Torx. This is just to take the undertray off. So if your car's got an undertray, follow it around the outside. There'll be a load of T25s and maybe a couple of other things. But first job, take the undertray off. Right, so if you follow it all the way around, they're all T25s. Mine's got a few T27s in for some reason, and there's also two 10mm at the back. So you want to just make sure you get them, and then your undertray should just come off. Literally just winging it.
I recorded that bit.
Right, so that's obviously the undertray out the way. Set that to one side, and now we're pretty much ready to drain the oil. This takes 4.5 litres, so you need a 5 litre dish or tub or something to drain it into. This is just a draper one from Toolstation. It's only about a £5, so go get one of these. And then I've got this, which I got from work, which is a 25 litre thing. But basically, I'll decant the oil into this, and then if you take it down to any sort of tip or any local recycling plant, they should have somewhere that you can put all the used engine oil. So we'll probably fill this up with a few cars and then take it down. So let's drain the oil. I'm going to go for 19mm. Do you reckon that's about right?
Yep.
Oh, you're right. It was a 19mm. Nice work.
I know my stuff, Matthew.
You know your stuff.
Moment of truth.
That is on so tight. Remember, wear gloves. You're gonna get covered in oil, especially since we've just been out on a little drive, so my oil is probably quite warm. So make sure you wear some gloves. Make sure your car's not too hot, otherwise you'll get oil all over your hands and it'll be hot. It's just not gonna be that nice. So get some gloves. Oh, I can feel how warm it is, to be honest. And try not to drop it in the oil, that'll be a nightmare. Oh, it's coming. Ah! Right, leave that to drain. Right, so while that is draining, we basically need to get the engine cover off. That'll just pop off. Just chuck that out of the way somewhere. And our oil filter is somewhere down here. So I do believe that we need to basically take all these lines off, not completely, but just so they're sort of flexible and we can move them about so we can get to the oil filter. So T30. That's gone forever. So if you just tuck these bits out the way, that should give you enough room to just about get into your oil filter, I think, but we shall see. So you need a 32mm is what you need. and we're just going to take the top of the oil filter off. Now again, this is probably another good time to wear some sort of hand protection really. Just let all the oil drain out of it, because otherwise it'll go all over your engine. And pull it out. Like so. There you go, nice little hack. Still dripping there, so we'll leave it to it, it's still dripping. So again, with your rubber glove, just make sure, try not to get too much oil on your hands, but can't always be helped. And that should just pull out like that. And then you want to grab your new oil filter, which we've got over here. Now, these will usually come, as you can see, with another O-ring. So this is just around, if you come in a little bit closer, this is the O-ring just around here. So it's up to you. Some people don't use a new one, but if they've supplied you with one, I feel like you might as well use it. Obviously I've gone for all sort of man filters. Usually, I don't know if they are the best. I know a lot of places man is like OEM, just rebranded to VW, Audi or whatnot. Use whatever filter you want, but I always just use man, and obviously we've got Castrol oil to go back in as well. I know a lot of VWs use Quantum, but it says Castrol on the top of the oil cap, so that is what I'm going to use. So new O-ring going on, like so. Should have worn gloves, hands are covered in oil, kids are crying, and then just push your oil filter in like that. And then a lot of people say to put a bit of oil on this before it goes back in. I'm not sure how vital that is. So yeah, that's the new oil filter back in there, and it's ready to go back in the car. So get it through that little gap, and then you just need to tighten it up. It will give you a Newton meter on top of the actual thing, so it's 2.5 to 5 Newton meters, which isn't a lot, to be honest. It's very easy to over tighten, so pretty much just nip it up and that should be all right. So then we've got to get all these little screws back in place, nip them up, and we're sorted. Right, so that is all the oil is drained. We've taken the old oil filter off, we've put the new oil filter back on, and now we need to, hopefully all the oil should have drained by now. We'll take it out and we're going to decant it into this other tub, and then we can look at starting to fill the oil back up, change the air filter, change the pollen filter, and we're done. So we'll check on the oil now. Now it's still dripping a little bit, to be honest, so we'll probably just leave that another 10 minutes. We'll do the air filter in the meantime, and then we'll come back to that.
Lovely day to do cars.
Lovely day, yeah. Do you know what, it's actually so nice. I don't know if you've seen in the background the Polo, but that's been getting a rebuild all winter in that tent over there. So yeah, if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. But yeah, it is nice to be working in a t-shirt in the sun after I've been slugging away on that all winter. You know, rain, sleet, snow, ice, whatever the weather, I've been underneath that car, which has been a pain. So yeah, it's nice to actually be in the sun for once. But enough of that. If you've got time, go watch it. If not, the reason you're here, changing your air filter. So this is just screwed in, so you just want to get a screwdriver and go around all these little screws. Just take them out one at a time. Again, careful not to drop them because they do seem to like to run away. So put them in a safe place. And then take that one out. Now I'm expecting this to actually still be in alright condition, to be honest. I mean, it has been 10,000 miles, but some places don't change the air filter every 10,000 miles. Now, I think if you're servicing your car yourself, for what it costs, I pretty much do the equivalent of a major service. So every time I service my car, it gets oil filter, pollen filter and air filter, because do you know what, it's only a couple of quid more to do it really. So it's one of them. Then this should just come off like that. Lovely. So if you just grab a corner of this, it should just pull out. Do you know what? That is not bad at all. But like I said, if you are servicing it yourself, man filter coming out as well, if you are serving it yourself, I think these are about £6 or £7. I mean, to me, it's just worth it. Do it all at once. Your car will be performing how it should be in, you know, as good a condition as it can. So I think altogether, including the oil, this has probably only cost me about £50, to be honest. Obviously, a service at a dealer is considerably more just for an oil and filter. So they would actually class this as sort of a major service, which, I don't know, up for discussion. But like I said, I do this every time, no matter what. So that wants to... Now you might as well, while all this is over as well, there is quite a lot of stuff. As you can see, you'll have this little guard. Get that out, because you might as well. A couple of feathers, a couple of twigs, a couple of whatever you want. I think that actually is just to stop things like mice getting in there. And whatever else you got in there too. Yeah, probably a couple of crisps in there. Yeah, put that back in. Oh, we got a nice shiny filter out. Actually, I might do a little comparison. Do you know what? They don't even look that different. So that is old and that is new. Like I said, not a right lot of difference, but once you start tearing them in half and stuff, you can see a bit of the dirt that it's caught. But for £6, it's off in the bin. So lift that up, plonk it in. Just make sure it's sort of sat in there nicely, and then that can just screw back down again. Whoops. ASMR. You know what that is?
Let me guess. Is it that a mouse?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look more at that.
Yeah. That is the only downside of living in the country. There's no other downside. We've got no speed bumps. We've got quality roads. We've got a field with sheep in.
But you just got mice that want to eat everything.
Yeah, but you have got mouse. Yeah, one of my last cars, I was on my way to work and I didn't realise, but a mouse had actually chewed through my diesel pipe. And I opened the bonnet and diesel was just squirting everywhere. I could smell it through the aircon. But yeah, it turned out that just like one of these pipes or something, a mouse had just been sat on gnawing away. So we have to periodically check that no mice have sort of eaten our cars to bits. It's usually quite obvious. That's the first bit I've seen on my car actually. Right, so like I said, I've forgotten to get a new sump plug for mine, but I know full well that I did it last time. I know it's a genuine Audi one. Again, I'm not sure if you might reuse them or not. I'm fairly sure you're not, but I did just forget this time. But get yourself to Audi or whatever car you've got, get yourself a new one. They're about £3 or something like that. So we're going to put that in, stop it dripping, and then try and pull the oil tray out. And it is absolutely brimmed, so hopefully we don't spill any. So I'll just stick that back in and we'll pull it. Imagine if I dropped this in now. And obviously don't forget to tighten this up as well. That'll be alright. Here we go, moment of truth. I'm sure you told me this was 5 litre. Oh my god. So the next thing you need to do is obviously put your under tray back on. So far we've drained the oil, we've changed the oil filter, and we've changed the air filter. So we're pretty much ready to put the under tray back on, start filling the car back up with oil, and then we've got the pollen filter to go, which is in the passenger footwell, and then that is it. Major service complete on the Audi. So we'll get the under tray back on, we'll fill it up, and we'll go from there. Right, so the last thing we've got to do before changing the pollen filter is obviously fill this up. Now, you should be able to find somewhere online the quantity of oil that your car takes. Now, my car takes 4.5 litres. Obviously, Castrol being Castrol, only sell it in 4 litre bottles, so that is why I've got 2. Very annoying, Castrol, sort it out. So we can pretty much just empty this entire one straight in. Right, that is sort of a rough guesstimate of about 4.5 litres. I can't imagine it matters if it's absolutely precise. And the engine cover back on. Right, so that is all the oil topped up, everything's sorted. Close the bonnet now, that is us done under here. Obviously, the air filter, the oil filter, all done. Last thing we've got to do now is the cabin filter. So we'll do that, start it up, leave it running, and then I'll show you how to reset the service indicator on the dashboard after that.
Stay hydrated.
Always stay hydrated. Right, so last thing we've got to do is a pollen filter. Obviously I've got man again. It's like some sort of activated charcoal one. Look at that, very lovely. Now, all you've got to do is make sure that you get it in the right way. Obviously it's got an airflow thing here, so just be conscious whatever way you take it out to make sure it goes back in. If you want to double check anyway, it does give you instructions on what to do. Very fancy. And it reckons it's going to take 12 minutes. I reckon this is going to take 2 minutes. So there's a challenge. Right, so if you get under here, there's just a couple of tabs that you can just undo with your fingers that look like that. So that is what you're looking for. They're in a little piece of foam. So find those two, take them out, and then you should just be able to pull this out. So that's what you're looking for. Bit of foam. That's where they sit, just in there. Just unscrew them. That bit of foam will come out. Right, so then there's a little tab. If you actually just pull it towards you, then all the leaves and all the nasty stuff will drop out. I recommend cleaning your car after you do this, because the chances are there's going to be loads of leaves, all sorts of stuff, and then this should just pull out like that. So like I said, remember which way it went in, so I'm going to make sure that mine is the same way, like that. And again, this isn't classed as a major service, but look how much stuff is in that. It's not for me, that one.
I missed this.
Fresh filter, so it's charcoal way down. I've just realised actually this little thing here is actually done in a way that it can only go on one way. They're sort of staggered, only just, but they are staggered. So I'd be impressed if you can do it wrong way. So I'll fit mine back in now. How's that for an angle?
Nice chins.
Nice. Lock it into place, and then all you got to do now is just get this little bit of foam trim back in, bolt it back up, and we're done. So once you've got that tightened up, we're pretty much all done. That is service fully complete. We've got to reset the little service advisor on the dashboard, but apart from that, we're completely sorted. If you are servicing your car yourself, I do recommend doing the pollen filter. If for nothing else, it's again only about 7 or 8 quid, something like that, and it does actually make your car smell much fresher, because that is where it gets trapped. If there's any bad smells in your cars, pets, cigarettes, whatever, that's where it's going to get trapped. So if you change that, just means your car's a little bit fresher as well. Well worth it in my opinion. Right, so as you could see on that screen there, it says that my oil's due to be changed in 2,900 miles. I think it's 12,500 that they reset to, so I've done just under 10,000 miles since I last serviced it. But apart from that, it goes onto the service menu, which says that it's over expired by 5 days. Now, this is basically like your major service rather than your oil and filter. Like I said, I did a major service last time, but I didn't know how to reset that at the time, so I just changed the oil and filter light. But we're going to do both of them now and then show you how to do it. To reset that service indicator, what you need to do is turn your ignition on, and then basically this little right button next to your speedo, you need to pull that out until the servicing comes on, let it go in, and then pull it out again and hold it until that resets. Right, so as you can see, that reset the numbers, and hopefully that should, when I turn the car on now, not say service due. And just like that, the entire service is complete. I'm ready to go for another year or 10,000 miles, who knows, whichever one's comes first. But yeah, if this video has been helpful for you, if you've enjoyed it, make sure to click the subscribe button. We're getting near to 1,000 followers now, so it would be really appreciated if you give it a click. Takes 2 seconds and it really helped me out. Comment below if you've got any questions about this, give the video a thumbs up, and if nothing else, we'll see you next time.